Okay guys, Ramblin Bob here again. Now we're going to do a full test of series of those two panels. So I have both of those panels out in the backyard, and they're hooked into series, and we're going to use one port on the main system. Now that I have everything worked out, I had it hooked to a DC meter that it was only designed to go up to about 60 volts. Supposed to. It went higher than that, but it wasn't supposed to, so that might have been the glitch. Thank you, Gorilla Motors. Good catch. Good catch. That's why we're a team here. Okay. If you're not a subscriber already, Gorilla Motors, please become a subscriber. We need you in this community, for real. Okay, so we're pulling 430, 440, 450. Just hooked it up here, so I'm going to let it run in real time a little bit. 473, 480. Okay. It's still early, so it's going to do that wave thing. It's 10:30, so it should be pretty good. I don't have the panels perfectly aligned. I just kind of have them set up. I'm going to go outside and try to get them set up better, but I just want to do this part of the test. I just flopped them up and kind of aimed them towards the sky, and we're going to see what happens with the voltage. I notice it has pretty big drops in the power, so it goes all the way up to like 500. And let's see, 502. Oh, see? Now for it to, oh boy, that's a big drop. So what I'm thinking is maybe it well, I don't know, maybe it didn't have something to do with the DC meter now. But you know, that's why we do a test. That seems to be a pretty big drop, 130 watts down from 500 down to 30. Seems to be, and that's what I was getting before, the fluctuations on the DC meter. We'll watch it in real time here and see what happens. Okay, 503. When I pulled them in independently, yeah, see, that's a pretty big drop. When I pulled them in independently, I was getting, I think we maxed out so far in the first test, the first day, 704 watts for both panels. That's outstanding. It's always supposed to be 660 in their data sheet, but yeah, I don't know if I like the wattage movement. I wish I had a way to measure the voltage now, and since I only have meters that go up to 60 volts, and I never usually use this high a voltage, I'm always a 48 or under guy. I like to keep it safe because I'm still learning too. Dang, yeah, see, so I wonder if when I had the DC meter hooked up, the voltage dropped down, and then it like went into protection and kind of shut off the charging for a second. But now without the meter there, you see it's a pretty big shift as far as power. I mean, you're looking at from, what was it, 380 to 500. It's 1030, so it shouldn't be fluctuating that much. It usually gets pretty stable about that time. Okay, so we're still going up here, 525. I'm just going to let it ride here, guys, and see it in real time. Yeah, see, that seems to be a pretty big drop. Now, it's very, very possible that there could be a branch, you know. I'm going to go check the panels. I'm going to go aim them, you know, the best I can. I use the old soup can technique. I don't have anything better as far as tools yet. I'm still starting everything, guys, so I'm still very new at this. But notice that the power's going up here. 544. Oh, now notice it's pretty stable here. Okay, now that's what it's supposed to do. It looks like it says system, but it's 545. 54. See, now that's what it's supposed to do. Now notice that it's very, very stable. It's 10:30 in the morning. Yeah. Now see, now it's stable. I wonder what changed. Maybe the MPPT controller was learning the panels, if that's a possibility. I don't know about the hardware inside here, guys. I'm not an engineer, so I always repeat that because, you know, I'm just an average user. I'm a guy that bought some stuff, and then I want to learn how to use it and help other people. But yeah, notice it's rock solid now. Rock solid. So maybe it was a learning curve for the controller, possibly. You know, oh, see, boy, I opened my yapper and look what happened. Come on, Bob, close your yapper. All right, so it's going back up again. The voltage drops are strange, right? Is it just me? It's strange. See, 380, 355. Now, when I had it running to the EB3000s, I didn't have any voltage drop. But now it's a straight line. It's coming right from the panels in series right into the E2000, into port number 1. And what I'll do is I'll try port number 2 in a minute to see if we have the same reaction on port number 2. Yeah, see, those are big drops. And I just want to show you the other two that I'm charging with on other solar panels for the test. You see how this one's very solid? It sits at 319 to 321, 316, 324. See, that's a normal kind of wave for solar at this time of the day of what I've seen. And then this one too, see, 366, 365, 362. You see how it's very solidish? You know, it drops down a little, but it doesn't drop down to 100 watts. So maybe there's a charging thing with, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know. I was gonna say maybe there's with the MPPT controllers having issues with the voltage of the panels or whatever, but I don't know. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the test here. I'm saying not the test. I'm gonna stop the video here, and then I'm gonna go outside and make sure that there's no branches that are like swinging, because that'll drop it too. If you got one stupid little branch going like that over your video, or I'm sorry, your panel, and that'll screw up your voltage like that. So. Or your watts. I'll be right back, okay, guys? Okay, hang on. Okay, guys, I came out and moved the panels, and I came in and I noticed it dropped down to 0 watts, so I'm going to plug it in again. So maybe it doesn't have something to do with that DC meter, so we're going to try it again. I'm all out of breath now because I had to run outside and do that. Right, let's let it run for 100 watts, 120. I would never use these panels in series myself. I like to keep the voltage low. I would put them in parallel, but that's just me. The reason I'm doing the test is because I want to fully test a panel the way you might use it or someone else might use it. But I want to see. Now remember, there's a straight 12 gauge cable from the panels to here. It's a 60-foot run, which is very long. I agree, but that's the average of what most people would have at their house, and it's coming in through the system through port number 1. We're going to try one test through port 1, see if anything happens to it, if it cuts out or something, and then we're going to try port number 2. So we'll see what it does. I don't think we're going to have as good a spike as yesterday because the sun is kind of iffy with the clouds again, but we'll see what happens. You never know till you try. All right, now we're getting up to the more respectable numbers here. Oh, see that big drop? See that? That was a huge voltage drop and a wattage drop, I bet. As far as I don't have a meter. I wish I had a meter that went up higher. But notice that here's 508, 515, 519, 523. You see it building, right? It's building almost 530, 531. See? Okay, now I don't know, something's funny with that because your watch shouldn't drop that much. And I'm watching two other arrays that I have that are both at one's coming in at about 29 volts and one's coming in at 39 volts. That's a 41 open circuit and a 48 open circuit. And you know what? They're solid. And they're just about in the same area as this. So the clouds shouldn't be affecting that. So this is a good test. This is a good test. I don't know if maybe one of the panels isn't cooperating, or maybe it's, I don't know, the port, or I don't know. But notice this is building now, so we're getting much. Oh, see, as soon as I open my mouth there, that dropped down 100 and some watts. So if the wattage dropped down, I guarantee that the voltage of the amps drops down, because you need the voltage in the amps to equal the watts. So without the meter, I can't fully test it. All right, let's watch it again. Let's let it go up and down here. Oh, see that voltage drop? Oh, okay, so look at that. Look at that. That is exactly what happened when I had it through the DC meter. The panel is good, right? It says it's, you know, hooked up, but look at the watts. It went down to nothing. So maybe Guerrilla Motors, that was a great idea you had. Maybe that's not it. All right, let me pull this out. Please don't hot swap stuff, guys. Not a good idea. Okay, now let me put this in. Now it's into port 2. That's the series of the two PV300s. And then we're going to see what happens now. Boy, it shot up nice and fast. Let's see what it does. Anything over 500 for these panels, I think that's, it seems to be average in the solar panel world. You get, you know, like 75 or whatever percent of their rate. Oh, see it drop down again? See that? That's weird. So something is weird with the panels or the charger. Like I said, when I put it into the battery, it didn't do this. It was rock solid. Do you guys think that maybe, and I have version 1, by the way, the original Pecron that came out, do you think that there's maybe a hiccup in the controller? I wish somebody else had a set of these panels so they could do the same test as I am. But look at that, that's dropping down. That means that the voltage has to be dropping down. This is 100% the same test as I did it with the other video. 100% the same cables, 100% the same connectors, and 100% the same area of where the panels are located. So all the boxes are ticked. You know, everything's the same. We'll see if that drops down now. Okay, 506, 530. It seems like it builds up and then it just kind of like maybe almost like a. I don't want to use the word short, but it seems to like short and drop down to like, what was it, 3.8? See? Look at that drop. That was 100 and some watts. It just dropped down. That's what it was doing with the DC on the DC meter. So I don't think it was even though that DC meter was usually designed up to 60 volts. I ran it through the EB3000 batteries for 30 minutes and it ran fine. See? 400. That's strange, guys. Right? That's strange. I want Pecron to see this video because now it's 100% straight cable from the panels in series to the MPPT controller in the E2000 LFP. And then let's see what they say. Let's watch it a few more times here. Yeah, see that? See that? I've never seen it drop like that on any other panels that I've had. And it's only, now notice this only happens when it's hooked to this main box. Okay, this didn't happen when I hooked it to EB3000 number 1 or number 2 straight in. I could only max out at 400 watts. I don't know if that had something to do with it, but that voltage was rock solid at 69 to 70 volts input. And now if I had a way to test it, I wish I had a meter that would go up higher so I can test it. Yeah, that voltage, it has to be dropping. It has to. There's no other way to explain it now. There you go. See, now that lost over 100 watts. That's a very, very strange charge. All right, guys, I'm going to post this video. I want you to see it. And boy, that's up and down with these panels. But boy, you know, when I used them, one in one side and one on the other side, best panels I could have asked for. But now I have a strange thing when I put them in series. So we'll get to the bottom of it, guys. Let's work together as a team. All right, thank you. Bye. Okay, update. Guerrilla Motors. I got to keep the panels. Guess what? That was a great idea, but it didn't work. I unhooked it from the DC and the DC meter, and it seemed to work okay for a second, and then it started doing it again. Now, I have 755 watts coming in through my other two arrays, which is this one, 39 volts at 420. That's 8 ACOPOWER 800 watt panels. Okay, and then this is 4 Harbor Freights, 31 volts, 360 watts. So that's the 7. Now this middle one is the 2 PV300s. They're coming in at 73. Now, even though these meters are designed to only supposed to be 60 volts, it does run. As you can see, it runs okay. Whether it's good for it or not, that's another story, but it does run. And this is not, you see how solid these numbers are? Now the difference is I don't have it hooked into the main. I have it hooked into the bottom battery down there. So it's definitely pulling, because otherwise the meter wouldn't recognize any, you know, watts out. But I don't, there has to be some kind of an issue with using those panels on these ports or this model or something. So like I said, I'm getting almost 700 here plus another 400 here. That's 1100 watts total. We'll go back and watch this. The middle one, this are the PV300s, and look at, it's solid as a rock. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch it. Notice it doesn't have the voltage drops that it did when I went through the main system, right? It's still at 70, like that's literally rock solid, as far as, like, that's like a cruise control on a car. The watts are not going to go up any higher because the EB3000s max out at 400 watts. So if you take this number and, you know, take the conversion loss, that's about 400 watts. So at 5.7 amps. But notice this voltage, right? It's solid as a rock. I don't know. I mean, that's why we're doing the test, guys. You know, this one, the voltage solid as a rock, right? These are the ACOPOWERs. That's going into port number 1. This voltage solid as a rock. These are the Harbor Freight, 4 of them. Very solid. See the voltage? You know, if it shoots up one volt or a half a volt, that's understandable, because you have like wind and leaves and branches and trees and all kinds of things, like this one is doing now. See, it only drops down a little bit, but when this dropped down to like 40 volts, I mean, that's an issue for the charger. It's obviously not the panels, because look, it's working, right? And you haven't seen that number drop once. Let's watch it for a good 30 seconds. That number will not fluctuate at all, nor will it cut out like it did on the main port. So I believe these panels on this system needs more testing by Pecron. Fantastic panels, though, fantastic. You know, when I used them individually on port 1 and port 2, or I assume when I parallel them together, you're not going to have that issue. I have the cables coming Saturday, so I can parallel them on one channel. But when I series them, remember, this is in the EB3000 battery. Rock solid, rock solid. You're not seeing voltage drops, you're not seeing dips, you're not even seeing spikes, right? Little tiny voltage moves, and that's normal. You know, the earth and the sun, you know, I mean, it's moving, so you're not going to get a rock 100% solid number ever in any kind of power, you know. I mean, even the best meters out there will fluctuate just a tad, but solid as a rock, right, guys? Solid as a rock. 5.6 amps, give or take a little. 409, 71, anywhere between 70 and 71.5 volts. All right, guys, we got some testing to do, man. These are great panels, but I don't know about the series yet for the main system. So we're still getting almost 700 watts in the main system for the ACOPOWERs and the Harbor Freight ones. There is 700, and then we have the two PV300s going into this box. I'll bet dollars to donuts if I put one in this one and one in this one, I would pull more power, but I don't have enough cables yet. I have that coming Saturday. You know, expanding my setup so much here, it's time consuming and costly. So I got to wait till you know, they drop off the products. But yeah, okay, guys. Well, if you have any other ideas, Gorilla Motors, sorry, I got to keep them. That was a hell of a good idea, and I overlooked it. But like I said, this meter, it's working, and it was the help of Rhonda. Rhonda said that her meter was going up to like 69 or 70 or something like that, and that made me think again. It's like, well, mine was too. Even though these are only designed to go up to 60 volts in the specs, sometimes people make products better than the specs. I mean, it's possible. I've got solar panels like that. You know, these two panels were one of them. But notice, this voltage is not changing, guys. 71.9 to 72. That's not a lot of fluctuation. That's a quarter of a volt. That's nothing. You know, a quarter to a half a volt. That's absolutely nothing when it comes to solar, you know. But they're still on. Now, how long is this video here? This video is about 6 minutes, so that's been a solid 5 or 6 minutes where you haven't even seen that voltage drop. Alright, Pecron, you got some explaining to do. We gotta do some fixes. Guys, if you have panels like this, they're very new, and you know, they're up there, they're pricey. But if you have a set of these, please put a video online and see if you're having the same effect. Let us know if you have version 1 or version 2 of this E2000 LFP. See there, it dropped down to 69.5, but that's normal because if you look at the other ones, they dropped down a little bit. And see how it went right back up? But when this went down to like 48, and I think once it went down to like 33 volts in that last video, it's not the panels. I don't think it's the panels' fault. I think it's the charging MPPT thing and the controller in this. But when I go to the batteries, it works perfect. So, all right, guys, we got another puzzle to figure out with the Pecron. Awesome system. We just gotta keep working the bugs out, and then we'll get a perfect system very soon. All right, guys, I'm gonna upload this. Thanks. Bye.